everyone, and welcome to Bourbon Bites Whiskey Reviews with an 80s twist. I'm your host, Clifton, and welcome to another Thursday night live stream where it's all about wheat. So, I've had many a wheated bourbon on this channel, from Larceny to Maker's Mark to McCarthy's Reserve or Mackenzie, whatever that Total Wine brand is. But today it's all about wheated whiskey, or wheat whiskey to be specific. These are all whiskeys that are at least 51% wheat in the mash bill. As you know, bourbon is 51% corn, rye is 51% rye. These are at least 51% wheat. This is a category that I've not really explored very much, honestly, in my past 3-4 years of the channel. I've had some very limited experience and exposure to this type of whiskey, but I'm really excited to do a bit of exploring tonight. And some of these are standard on the shelf releases, like the Oregon Spirit. This is just a Total Wine bottle. It actually was on sale for like $25 today. So I'm like, oh, well, it's a starting point. It's 90 proof. And we're going to work our way up to the latest Bernheim Barrel Proof. This is the B923 batch. Now, just of note, this is my first Bernheim Barrel Proof. Have not had the other batches. Somehow I got added to a list to get this one. So shout out to Heaven Hill for the media sample. But yeah, first time trying the Barrel Proof. I have tried the regular Bernheim, but not the Barrel Proof. We're also going to be trying a release that I love the name of, more importantly than anything. Journeyman Distillery, Corset, Whips, and Whiskey. So this is a wheat whiskey. It is actually a barrel pick from a group called the Barrel Boys out of San Diego. Not familiar with them, but they did this pick. And of course, we're also trying an Old Elk product, which I've never had on the channel. I've had some of their releases, but never on the channel. So this is an Old Elk double wheat. So this one is a blend. I'll get into the details of each of these as we go through and show you a bit of the mash bills, but these are all technically classified as wheat whiskeys. So it's gonna be a ton of fun of exploring, trying new things, reviewing a new release, and also just hanging out with you guys and talking about your experiences with wheat whiskey. Question for the chat: have you ever had a wheat whiskey? Like, I'm not talking about a wheated bourbon, so like not like Larceny or Maker's Mark, a whiskey that's at least 51% wheat. Let me know in the chat if you have and which ones you've had, because I'm very, very curious. Again, I've had the standard Bernheim. That's probably it. I don't think I've ever had. Oh wait, no, one more. The Woodford Reserve. They had a wheat whiskey that I have had. I actually almost bought that for the stream that I saw the Oregon Spirit was on sale, so I did not buy that for this stream, but I have reviewed it on a previous stream, so go check that out if you missed it. I want to say hello to a few folks here in the chat that are tuning in live. If you're watching the replay, hey, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Even if you're not able to catch it live, leave a comment down below your favorite wheat whiskey. So good to see y'all here. Happy to hang with y'all again on Thursday night. I look forward to these streams so much. I know I feel like jittery, but I'm like so excited to be back. So I hope you are just as excited as I am. Five Fingers, it says high five to you, Five Fingers. Donnie the Linux Cat, one of the amazing mods here on the channel. What's up, Donnie? Good to see you. Fred says it's hot when someone knows the difference between wheat whiskey and wheated bourbon. And you'll see that I quickly responded by Google's the difference between wheated whiskey and wheated bourbon. Just kidding. Actually knew that, but I think it's hot, Fred. You know, thank you. I'll get some more whiskey info for you later on. Taste and Sensibility in the chat. What's up? Good to see you, man. Another great channel here on YouTube. Check out his channel where he reviews lots of different things, not just whiskey. Good to see. Yeah, I thought I saw another whiskey tuber here, but not yet. So I was just chatting to someone right before the stream. So I got you, Fred. I got you. Zofer said the usual suspects, of course. Well, also hi, Zofer. Zofer is a patron of the channel, along with Adam Free and Fred, of course. But Fred says I too have a pick of that Corsets, Whips, and whatever. It's surprisingly tasty. Oh, very cool. Zover said he's had a lot of Heffen. You know what? Wheat beer, wheat whiskey. It's all in the same vein. So totally get that. Fred says Memphis crew unite. Well, I feel left out, but good to see the Memphis crew here as well. All right, y'all ready to drink some whiskey? I know I am. I'm going to start with this Oregon Spirit. Now, I don't know very much about this one. I do know it's a Spirits Direct brand from Total Wine. I will say I do like the bottle. It's very you could chuck this at someone and probably knock them out at least. But it's a very bulbous bottle. Oregon Spirit Straight American Wheat Whiskey. This one comes in at 90 proof. Again, it is distilled, believe it or not. Well, it says Oregon. It doesn't say distilled. Hold on one second. distilled and bottled by Oregon Spirit Distillers in Bend, Oregon. Yeah, so it is. I think I might have some more info on the actual mash bill of this one. Let's see what they have on their website. Yeah, it's 5 years old. It is a, let's see, it's born from winter wheat grown in the heart of Oregon and finished with touches of rye and malted barley to create a balanced homage to our beautiful state's most abundant crop. Nice. So it's 74% wheat, 18% rye, and 8% barley. So, like I said, it's categorized as a wheat whiskey. 5 years old, 90 proof. It's the lowest proof of the ones we're drinking tonight. So I wanted to start with it, give it a shot. It's also the most affordable bottle of all of these. So, like I said, I think retail on it's like 40, but it goes on sale pretty often. It was on sale for 30, but there was also a coupon for another $4 off. So I only paid like 26 for this one. So yeah, cannot complain to explore and try new things for, 26 bucks. I always recommend, if you can, try it at a bar first. But with a deal like that, I can't say I would criticize you for just giving it a shot at Total Wine. Emily's in the chat. What's up, Emily? Emily's another amazing mod here as well. Fred said, if only you could have convinced Justin to come. I thought he liked hanging out with me. He does. He does. It was more of we did something else that weekend. I forget now that God put me on the spot. I think we went to Hawaii or something. I'm sorry. We had other plans, but listen, next time. We were just talking in the old Facebook group chat of doing a meetup sometime soon or sometime next year. Love to meet up with all of you that I have met and those of you that I haven't met yet. Just gotta do it. Gotta put it on the books. Gotta get it out there. So they had better things to do. Donnie, that's not what I meant like that. Don't come for me. Y'all don't come for me. I don't even have any whiskey in my system. I don't have the fighting words to say yet. Let me get a little cliffy first. Then we'll do it on the after party hangout. So if you don't know, we do an after party hangout every Thursday evening for Patreon only. If you're curious about that, you can go to bourbonbites.com and find the link to our Discord, which everyone's welcome to, and the Patreon, which gets you access to some very exclusive things like our monthly movie night, where we're going to do an October Fright Fest marathon. We're going to watch a bunch of 80s horror movies. It's going to be a ton of fun. That's at the $5 level. And of course, the after party at the $10 level. Get access to some Cliffy sass, I guess. I don't know. Donnie's coming for me. and then he drops the Patreon info. So yeah, patreon.com/bourbonbites. All right, let's get into this whiskey, shall we? Zover says we're ready to hang out. I'm glad to hear that. All right. So let's go and give this Oregon Spirit a try. I've not had anything from the brand. Have y'all had anything? I feel like I've heard some like mixed things. I know they have a few different releases. This is my first one I've ever tried. Again, I do like the branding. I like the bottle. It stands out. It's really, really cool bottle. Especially for the price. I mean, this is like solid glass. This glass has to cost them something. All right, let's go ahead and give it a nose. Oh wow. Yeah, wheat whiskey. Wheat whiskey is one that it's like I struggle a lot because with like a wheated bourbon, wheat is more of a muted grain. It's not like the spicy rye. Like you don't get those specific notes from the grain itself. To me, wheat gives me a very overwhelmingly like sweet white bread kind of bready note. Which I know it's funny, it's like white bread wheat, but it has like that sweeter bread, or even like a maybe if we're sticking with wheat, like the honey roasted, or like the ones with the honey wheat. That used to be the bread I always got. But it's very sweet on the nose, bready, and I mean, this is delightful to nose. I mean, it's almost, do I say refreshing? It's kind of weird to say refreshing, but it's like, it reminds me of nature. Like, okay, maybe I'm being influenced by wheat fields, like in my thumbnail, but it has a really light, delicate, like fresh baked bread note to it. And I think that's really fascinating for it being 5 years old. I'm not getting tons of oak, but and there is some rye in here. Don't get me wrong. There's 18% rye and 8% barley, no corn. But that wheat itself has a sweetness that I feel like I would normally expect from corn. But it's in the wheat itself. So let's go ahead and give the Oregon Spirit straight wheat whiskey a try. Cheers, y'all. Oh yeah. I mean, it's very light. Again, it's 90 proof, but it's like very vanilla, like vanilla in multiple ways. Vanilla in the fact that it's like compared to the Journeyman, where we're talking about whips and corsets, but also vanilla and like the sweet, the the bright, a little bit of the grain. It's grain forward. It kind of does have a little bit of like a raw grain note. Sometimes I say that it's like a barnyard note, not like barnyard in terms of like animals, but like a hay kind of note, like a dried piece of hay. Not really grassy though. It's not like fresh cut grass. It's a very different note. That's usually a wheat, sorry, a rye note. But to me, that's really pleasant. It's so approachable. I mean, if you're someone that's not into whiskey, this might be a good gateway whiskey just to the world of American spirits because it's so light. Like I equate it to comparing a tea to a coffee, if that makes sense. Teas are flavorful, but like compared to like a brewed coffee, like they're very light. That's what I feel about this Oregon Spirit. Yeah, so approachable, really nice flavor. I mean, I wouldn't say put that in a cocktail or don't put it over ice because it's so light and so like delicate, I guess I would say, but it's a sipper. Maybe one to get the night started, or maybe one that you go to after you've blown your palate, but you want to keep the party going. This might be a good one. I'm a fan. Oregon Spirit, nicely done. I'm curious to try more from the brand now, but this is a good start. I'm really glad I started with this. And I was hesitant. I was like I said, it's like a Spirits Direct brand. I'm like, I don't know about that because like I've had some mediocre luck with it, but this is really nice. I'm a fan. Well done. Fred said I screwed up. No wheat, only rye and rye bourbon. So hey, nothing wrong with that. Just switching some things up with the channel. William Hall finally catching a live William. So good to see you, man. It's been a minute. I feel like we haven't. Like you said, I haven't seen you for a while. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being a supporter of the channel for so long. I really appreciate it. So cheers to you. Um, Emily says, anybody else remember white wheat brand bread? Oh, white wheat. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that. You know, I grew up eating white bread, but like once I tried wheat bread, I immediately was like, I prefer wheat bread. That's why I went to like the honey wheat. Like not even like a health thing. I just preferred it. Jeffrey Whack in the chat. What's up, Jeff? Good to see you, man. Y'all, if y'all don't know, there was another whiskey tuber in here earlier, but y'all check out all the other channels, showing them all the support. I know Deathless Dogs is live right now, so maybe they'll stop in. Maybe Dan will stop in for a bit, but so good to see you, Jeff. And Donnie dropping my merch link. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm gonna listen. I know I haven't updated my merch in a while. It's still great merch, but I do want to put new designs out. So thank you for dropping the link, Donnie. I have ideas. They're in my head. They're not on paper yet. So I appreciate it. Emily says you should do a tea flight series sometimes. Goes well with honey. Hey, maybe next time I do a dry week. Although last time I did a dry week on the channel, it didn't go well. I ended up losing my job, my day job. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do a silent dry week and just do that just for like a random Saturday stream. I made a big deal about doing a dry week last year. Like I'm gonna do a dry week. It's gonna be great. We're gonna sober up. We're gonna do all these cool ideas. And then it's like right before my stream, I got laid off. I'm like, you know what? I think this calls for an end to my dry week. So, but no, totally would love to do a honey/tea stream. Lord Reverend Professor Rusty J. Lug Nuts. Man, I almost nailed your name, and then I totally didn't. Greetings and cheers to you as well. Zover says, when your palate is blown, but you want to keep on? Well, we've never had that experience. Clippy Butt shirts are the best. No, Donnie. I'm talking about last career. It coincided with me doing the dry week. It was not fun. It was not a good time in my life. But so no more official dry weeks on the channel. I'll do them, but not gonna make a big deal about it like last time because that didn't go well. Did not complete my own dry week. Don Nishida's here. What's up, Don? Good to see you, man. Vodka week. You know what? I'm not opposed to vodka. I'm not opposed to vodka, but I don't know enough about the nuances of it to review it. I do know which ones I like and I know which ones I don't like. Yeah. This Oregon Spirit is a fantastic start, but I'm ready to amp it up. Everything else we're going to be drinking is going to be higher proof. So I think we should go ahead and move on. Let's see what we got here. We got some really great, cool bottles. Some, again, these are all new to me. I just bought them today. So let's go ahead and do the Old Elk Double Wheat. How about that? So let me show you all this. There we go. Come on. All right. It's kind of, there's a lot of different layers in this, so it's gonna be hard to show. Let's see if that'll. 107.1 proof double wheat. Oh, it's such a cool label. I wanted it to show. It's trying. I'm also shaking, so it's not making it very easy because it's a very heavy glass. All right, let's try. Let's try. All right, I'll just read it. I'll just read it. Yep. Okay, so it says double wheat, 53.55% ABV, which is 107.1 straight whiskey. So this one is kind of cool. They break down the mash bill on the side. Let's see if that shows up. Oops, sorry, that might have been loud. There we go. So it says a select blend of our gold award. I'm trying to read this. Wheated bourbon, straight bourbon whiskey, and straight wheat whiskey. So that's the ultimate mash bill there. 71.5% wheat, 25% corn, and 3.5% barley. So it shows you the ages. The wheated bourbon was 6 years, and the wheat whiskey was 6, 7, and 8 years. That was heavy. That was heavy. But man, I feel like when you like sit on something heavy and like your arm starts to lift up. That's what I'm feeling here. By the way, I gotta say, this is such a cool cork. This old elk. It's the 2022 double wheat. It's not actually wood. It's definitely plastic, but it looks so cool. Such a cool looking cork. I love a unique cork. All right, let's get that poured. Like I said, double wheat. Like I said, they used their wheated bourbon and they mixed it with their straight wheat whiskey and made essentially a wheat whiskey because the wheat whiskey just requires it to be at least 51% wheat. Now with more wheat. Exactly, double wheat. William says, let's do a rum week. Cheers to the pirates. Okay, you know what? I love rum. I haven't bought many rums lately, but I would absolutely love to do a rum week. Is there like a national rum week or international rum week? If there is, let me know. I'll do it. I'll set a timer. I'll set a calendar reminder, but that sounds fun. Is that straight barley or malted? Does anyone know? Not familiar with the old elk line. Great question. I mean, if it doesn't say it on here, malted barley. So it's 3.5% malted barley. Yeah. So this is their master blend series by their master distiller Greg Metz. But again, I'm not very familiar with Old Elk, but I do see a lot of picks in my area, so very excited to finally give it a try. And coming at 107.1 proof. No, I guess I wouldn't say quite cast strength, maybe, but I don't really know. But it's definitely higher proof. So let's go and give this a nose. Hmm. Okay, so whereas the Oregon Spirit was very light and approachable, this has some depth and has some character. A lot more of it's not necessarily well, it is older. It's 6 to 8 years old, so it is older. Getting in quite a bit more of that oak element to it. It's definitely got more of a bourbon touch to it. Like I said, it does have corn in the mash bill, but that's a lot more what I would expect on the nose of a whiskey. The Oregon Spirit was so light and delicate, it almost threw me off. But this one is much more what I expect it to be. Lord Reverend Professor Rusty J. Lugnuts, got it right that time. Says it's probably out of my price range. I think I paid 110 for this today. Let me check. I literally just bought it today. Let me check my order history on Total Wine. Again, I just searched for wheat whiskey on Total Wine. So it's not like rare. It's definitely like available. Let's see. See how much I paid. 104. So 104.99. So it's a bit up there. But it's 6 to 8 years old. But yeah. I had to give it a try. I feel like I've never had Old Elk. I'm like, this is a good price. We'll see. We'll see if it's a good price. But um, you know what? I give back to you guys like by buying these things to review. I mean, people think like, oh, the Patreon, like, what am I supporting? You're supporting me to be able to go out to Total Wine the day of a stream and get some whiskeys to compare to other whiskeys. That's kind of the whole point. That's why I have the Patreon. It's definitely to support the channel and to support me trying and buying new things and giving my honest opinion to you guys. So thank you to my patrons. I already said thank you, but thank you again to my patrons. Biking Bourbon says, love the Old Elk bottles and cork. They are so cool. This is my first time having one. Also, hi, Biking Bourbon. Good to see you. August 16th is National Rum Day, a day to celebrate your favorite cocktails, desserts, and warming spirit. Oh, we've missed it this year. Okay, next year. Y'all got to remind me. Next year, August 16th, we are doing a rum stream. Why are there so many guys named Ron making rum? Great question. Great question, Donnie. All right. I've enjoyed the nose of this Old Elk enough. It's time to give it a taste. This is Old Elk Double Wheat. Cheers. Hmm. Well, first thing I noticed is the proof. The proof is definitely an improvement over the Oregon Spirit. We're talking that was 90 proof. This is 107. I like that. It's a nice kick. It almost has a bit of a chocolatey element. So when I saw double wheat, I almost thought it was like a double barreled situation. Like they finished it in a new barrel. I think they just call it double wheat because it is that wheat bourbon mixed with that wheat whiskey. They did a bit of a blend. So I don't think it has extra finishing, but it does have a rich dark note. Now I assume my guess is it's bottled by Old Elk Distillery in Colorado. My guess is this is Indiana wheat whiskey. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have any info. Oh, distilled in Indiana. Actually, I do. Yeah, it's MGP wheat whiskey. But that's not to discredit it at all. It's just it's not their own. Whereas the Oregon Spirit was straight up Oregon whiskey. This is sourced again. Nothing wrong with that. But 6 to 8 year wheat whiskey. We totally support your debauchery. Oh well, I do appreciate it, William. Thank you so much for being a supporter again. It's not debauchery. Look, it's educational. Okay, this is all for the benefit of you people and me as well because whiskey. Fred said I got behind at 110, 110. Ouch. Oh yeah. All of their stuff isn't that expensive. This is like I said, this is part of their master series. It is a relatively limited release. Um, Donnie says it was an honest question. I mean, I don't know. Don't I'm not the person to ask that question. Yeah, I think this is really nice. I do think it's good, but I don't know if it's $100 good in my personal opinion. It's got a really nice character to it. It's sweet. It's a little, even though it's what I say 71.5% wheat. That corn is pretty obvious. That 25% corn. It makes me feel like the corn is I don't want to say distracting, but it's like the sweet it's weird because like the Oregon Spirit didn't have any corn in it. This does, and I feel like the corn is a little bit distracting. It's leading me towards like a sweeter, like creamed corn kind of note, like a milky kind of like I know that's such a weird thing to describe whiskey as, but it's like I don't know. I thought the nose carried so much weight with it. It carried that oakiness. It almost smelled like a really old whiskey. Palate just kind of I don't say dumbed it down a little bit, but it brought my expectations down a notch. And I think at 104, it's a bit pricey for my I wouldn't recommend it for that price just based on my palate. Again, you may love it. But for me, it's a good whiskey. It's not a great one. It's not $100-ish bottle, in my opinion, for the Old Elk. But again, I love the nose on it. The nose really upped my expectations. Yeah, nothing is wrong with it. I could drink this all day. You gave me a pour of this, I would be very, very happy. It's just for the price. It's like, would I rather pay that for something else? Probably. But you know what? It's fun to try a high-end wheat whiskey. I've not really had one before, so really glad for the opportunity for the folks at Old Elk for putting this together. They didn't provide it, by the way. I bought the bottle, so. Oh, the joke is Ron is Spanish for I knew it was, but I thought you were making like a literal reference. Like there's some dude's named Ron making rum. I don't know. I don't know. Cohen says Hampton Estate is the rum to buy. Oh, that's like a Jamaican one, right? That's the funky one, as far as I remember. Taste Sensibility said I poured a Crown Royal special release called Winter Wheat, 45% ABV. A year or two since release, but it's still around in some places. Purple Tube, about like you described the Oregon Spirit. Nice, nice. I do know the Crown Royal Rye doesn't necessarily have to be like Canada. Canada's really weird with their rules. The Crown Royal Rye doesn't actually have to have rye in it. It's a weird Canada rules about like whiskey. I don't know about the wheat though. The wheat might actually have wheat in it, believe it or not. But the Northern Harvest Rye, it does, but it's like it's not necessarily required for Canada. It was weird. Cohen said I have a store pick of Old Elk cast strength wheat whiskey pick that is for sale. $50. Just saying, okay, I will say if this was $50. I mean, this is like I said, this isn't a pick, but if this was $50, I'd pick it up. But it's not cast strength. But I know Cohen is going through his collection. So for anyone locally, hit him up. Yeah, so that was fun. I don't. I think it's good. It just to me for the price is a bit much. But let's take a little bit of a curve here. Let's go to the Journeyman. Again, the one with the funnest name of the night. Journeyman, corsets, whips, and whiskey. This is distilled and bottled by Journeyman Distillery in Three Oaks, Michigan. So this one is 114.4 proof. If you haven't seen the logo, let's see if that'll show up. So I will say I have had this distillery before. Um, I think it was called like Silver Cross or something like that. I didn't love it. Honestly, it was one of my few drain pours I've ever done. I didn't review it on the channel. It just actually was gifted to me from a friend. I couldn't get into it. This one though, it's one. It's been several years since that release came out. Two, this kind of sounds interesting. So it's 100% wheat whiskey at cask strength. Let's see. Join us every July for our annual corset whips and whiskey event. So this is like a celebration of their annual event in July. Like this is the one that I said earlier was a pick by the Barrel Bros. Again, I don't Barrel Boys. Don't know who they are, but this is a cask strength barrel 2017 30-gallon warehouse 3 volume 2. Again, this was a Total Wine, so like I didn't seek out this pick. It was just on the shelf with Total Wine. But Patrick shows up. Ooh, bondage. Good to see you, Pat. Yeah, great time to show up. It's a very fun label and a fun topic of discussion. We'll save for the after party. But good to see you, Pat. Cohen says he has a bunch of rice that he's clearing out. Very cool, man. Hey, listen, I'm really trying to cut my budget. The only reason I bought all these was because I needed some content for tonight's stream. That's the reason I went all out with these wheat whiskeys. William says, I stopped by the Journeyman Distillery on my last outing. Great distillery, picked up a distillery-only rye. I have a store pick on the corset whips and whiskey also. Great bottle. Oh, awesome. This is my first time having it, so I'm glad to see that you've had it and you've enjoyed it. An Old Elk cask strength bourbon pick from High Time. Oh, he's in Southern California. He's a Southern California guy like me. He offered to bring me some bottles. I'm like, dude, I don't need to spend this money. I appreciate it. You're close, but like, I need to cut back. So here I am spending $200 for a stream for you guys. When that Patreon check hits, though, gotta go out and buy more whiskey. Ooh, okay. On the nose. Not loving it, I'll be honest. We don't have the mash bill. Let's see if we have a mash bill on this one. Let me check their website. It's won a lot of awards, apparently. Oh, 100% organic Michigan-grown wheat. Very cool. So it's 100% wheat. It's also organic, which is, you know what? Go them. I imagine that would add to the cost of it. It was about $66, so not bad, especially compared to the Old Elk. Yeah, it's very, I mean, that wheat is such a grain forward note. It's not, it's similar to hay territory that the Oregon Spirit was, but it's a lot more like, I don't want to say dirtier, but it's got a lot more earthiness to it. Yeah, I'm not loving the nose on this Journeyman, but you know what? The nose fooled me before. I won't be fooled again. Let's give Journeyman Distillery, Corsets, Whips, and Whiskey another try. Cheers. I like that. Okay. First of all, it's gonna make me sneeze because that higher proof is getting to me. That's nice. I actually am really surprised that the nose kind of turned me off so much, but the palate is good. I'm looking at their accolades. They actually got Craft Distiller of the Year by the 2023 Ascot Awards, as well as Best in Show Whiskey of the Year 2023 Ascot Awards. They took their Fred Minnick must just love this whiskey. Again, no bias there. It's just the nose was throwing me off, and I also had that past experience with Journeyman that kind of turned me off from it. But that sip just now was really nice. I have to go in for another sip. Yeah. I again I didn't love the nose. To me, the nose was like crafty, grainy, but on the palate, it has a really nice. I don't know the age in this. That's the only thing I can't find. It was barrel 2017, so it can't be that old, but it has a sweet brown sugar note. It's less of a vanilla and more of a brown sugar. A lot of character for a wheat whiskey. I think the other ones, like to me, were light and like very, very airy, I would say. This one has character. It's a darker, it's a caramel note, and maybe they're using smaller. I mean, it did say 30-gallon barrels, right? It is a smaller barrel that could actually be doing it. Maybe that actually works in the favor of wheat whiskey. I'm not a distiller. I don't know, but maybe these smaller barrels actually accentuate the whiskey in a way that these other ones don't. I think this is great. I think actually it's probably the best one I've tried so far in full transparency for $66. I do enjoy this. Journeyman has redeemed themselves to me because again, like I didn't love the last one from them. But yeah, don't go on nose alone. On palate, that's good. Am I gonna like hunt out more bottles of it? I might try another pick. I just think it's a very fair whiskey for the price, especially coming from the old elk that I felt was a bit overpriced. This feels appropriate of a price. I enjoy it. It's really good. Brandy's coming out to Pat's part of the world. Ascot Awards. I'm out. Listen. I'm just reading their website. I'm all for someone awarding things what they want to award. Whiskey awards we already know are not that they're meaningless, but like take them with a grain of salt. I'm just saying I'm really impressed by this based on palate compared to nose. All I'm saying. All I'm saying. Listen, I don't even know when y'all are meeting up. Y'all haven't told me. I don't know. I found out about meetups like literally like the week before, and I'm like, wait, y'all are meeting up? Oh well, would have been nice to know. I'm just kidding. A lot of times, you guys did tell me on a hangout, and Cliffy was there. I wasn't, so blame it on Cliffy. All right, we got one more whiskey to try tonight. Then I'm gonna give my final consensus on wheat whiskey as a whole. This is the one, of course, we mentioned at the top of the stream. The brand new Bernheim Barrel Strength B923, 120.6 proof, 60.3% ABV, barrel proof wheat whiskey from Heaven Hill. So, like I said, have not had any of these barrel proof releases before. Still recovering from that last one, but I'll do a sip of water to cleanse my palate because I just like choked on the remnants of that. But yeah, so I have a press release of this one. So I will, Cliffy was told many times, I'm just kidding, Donnie. I totally was just kidding. We have a sip of water and then we'll tell you about this Bernheim. All right. So, according to the press release provided by the brand, this is available to the public as of September 2023. Continuing the commitment to quality, craft, innovation, and tradition following the first release in February of 2023. Like I said, have not had that release, cannot compare it. This is my first Bernheim barrel strength. This is a mash bill of 51% wheat, so shall we say a barely legal wheat whiskey, 37% corn, and 12% malted barley, the same mash bill used in their standard Bernheim wheat whiskey. Aged between 7 to 9 years old, in Heaven Hill's traditional open rick house, this edition is bottled at 120.6 proof. Available at select retailers for a price of $64.99. Very cool. Good price. Great age. Very interesting mash bill being a barely legal wheat whiskey. But most importantly, how does it taste? Or how does the nose? How is the experience of Bernheim Barrel Strength? Let's give it a nose first. Again, this is the lowest wheat mash bill of all the wheat whiskeys we've had tonight. Okay. Still has that grain quality, a bit of that raw hay note that I picked up on a few of the other ones. Also sweet, but less sweet, less of like a hmm. That's less of like a bread sweetness and more of like a I mean I y'all okay, if you don't know, Heaven Hill is one of my favorite distilleries. I think they always have a distinct bake shop like note, not necessarily like fresh baked bread, but fresh baked pastries like tarts and croissants and all that stuff. This is in that realm. It's buttery sweet. It's like you have a croissant that's like has a sweet honey butter glaze on it. That's the nose I'm getting. Less so the fresh baked bread note, more so the like really buttery, rich dessert quality that I do love about a Heaven Hill product. Again, this is my first time having a barrel strength Heaven Hill. I'm very, very excited to see how this tastes. Emily says, when you tell Cliffy text Clifton, that's great idea. Great idea. Fred said the first batch of Bernheim Barrel Proof was good. Haven't seen this one yet. Oh, nice. Yeah, like I said, I've never had it before. See, nose alone, I can get into this. I can get behind it. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Cheers, y'all. That is nice. I mean, it's less. It feels like a different category than what we've been drinking tonight because these have all been very high wheat whiskeys. But this one is more traditional, what you would expect from a bourbon, what you would expect from a Heaven Hill product, like a Larceny. Not quite ECBP level. Still very buttery and light, and that's fantastic. I mean, again, I might be biased because I'm just a Heaven Hill fan. I buy all of their barrel proof releases, just whether I'm sent a sample from the brand or not. But this is so good. I mean, that finish for a wheat whiskey. I mean, the finish blows all these away. It is the highest proof, but it drinks so smooth. And I know I hate using that word. But for 120.6, unless you're breathing in when you're taking a sip, does not drink it. That, I mean, man, maybe there's something about this wheat whiskey thing. This is my first time really getting into it and really trying it, but man, people always dismiss wheat as being like the lack of flavor. They say like rye is the flavor grain, wheat's like a wheat only lets the corn shine, but I beg to differ. This one, not the best example to say that because it has a lot of corn in it, but some of these other 100% wheat whiskeys have a lot of character and a lot of flavor. I'm really impressed, and I think do I think the Bernheim is my favorite? Yes, but it's also 51% wheat. It's less of a wheat. Not to say it's okay. That's like saying less of a man. It's less of a traditional wheat whiskey. It's the minimum 51% wheat in the mash bill. For my palate, though, it's my favorite. I think it's I would buy multiples of this one if I saw it on the shelf. For $65, 65.99, buy this. Buy Bernheim wheat whiskey. The others, mixed feelings. I think the Journeyman is a great release, same price basically as the Bernheim. Um, I think I think actually for the price, buy the Bernheim and the Journeyman. Skip the Old Elk. For this one to me, like it didn't quite satisfy the price point. For the price of the Old Elk, you could buy both the Bernheim and Journeyman almost. So I would recommend getting those two. And also throw in the Oregon Spirit for 20 on sale for $26. I mean, this is nothing to complain about. This is a very approachable whiskey, especially for someone that you may have in your family that's not like a whiskey drinker. Hey, this might do it. This might actually get them into whiskey. So it has its place. But overall, I mean, none of these were bad. The only problem with the Old Elk was felt like it was overpriced for what it was. But everything else, perfect price. Go buy if you can. But I do look forward to trying more Old Elk products. Again, this one wasn't for me, but I'm very curious to see some of their other ones. And I'm starting to grab some of this to try with the Huling Station wheat whiskey. I know you mentioned having that. I did Huling Station, or is it Hulling Station? I forget. I did that so long ago from Alex Castle over at Old Dominic. Would love to try some of their more recent stuff, but it's been a while. Cohen said it has to be better than corn whiskey. I don't know if that's a dig on bourbon or just like you mean like corn whiskey, like mellow corn. If so, like mellow corn, yes, absolutely better than mellow corn. Mellow corn is so sweet; it's just not my jam. But if you're just in bourbon, shame on you. Fred says Old Elk wheat whiskey is sweet and nothing else, in my opinion. Definitely a pass. The Hulling Station is a wheat or has wheat. There is a wheated. Oh, that's a good question. I think it's a wheat whiskey, if I remember correctly. Huling. Okay, gotcha. Brandon says if you return the sample bottles I have. Oh, I will get you another blind flight. Oh no, Brandon, I didn't know I was supposed to save them. I may have gotten rid of them. And listen, I'll give you more sample bottles next time you're over. I have plenty. So it's funny. I saved the green one because Justin was like, "Ooh, that's pretty." He liked the green ones. I got the green one saved, but don't worry, man. I got sample bottles to share with you, so no worries. Just bring the bottles. Bring the bottles, and then you can pour the blind flight when you're here next time. Healing. Wondering Magoo. Sorry, I said mango. Sorry, I must be hungry. Wondering Magoo. Evening and cheers to all. Hey, welcome. First time seeing you here on the channel. I'm about to wrap up, but hey, feel free to check out the replay or come back next Thursday. I'm here 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Healing Station has a wheat, a bourbon, and a blend of the two. That's right. That's right. Yeah. So this was so much fun. Let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay. What is your favorite wheat whiskey? Again, I thought they were all great. There were just some I think were more worth the value than the others. Um, Cohen says talking about corn whiskey, not bourbon. Corn whiskey is cheap hillbilly garbage. Hey, listen. I cannot diss on our native spirit. Like, listen, I grew up in South Carolina. There was corn moonshine. So do not diss on it. Do I choose to drink it? Not necessarily. Donnie says, mash the thumbs up, click subscribe, and ring that bell, and make sure you choose all to be notified every time I go live. Look forward to coming back next Thursday. Don't know what we're doing yet. It's going to be a bit of a gamble. We'll see. We'll see what we do next week. But looking forward to seeing some of you or all of you back again. There's the mash bill for the Healing Station wheat. Mango is what a lot say. Okay, sorry, I was reading it very quick. Leave a comment under the video, folks. It helps. Hey, yeah, listen, those of you watching live, when the stream ends, go down below, comment your favorite wheat whiskey. You may have to refresh the page, but do it. It does help. Thank you so much for that comment there, Rusty J Lugnuts. And with that, thank you all so much for watching. We're going to head over to the after party, which is on Discord. If you're curious about that, check out Discord down below or bourbonbites.com. Patreon only after party is about to happen, but you can join the Discord. You don't have to be a patron. Just come be a part of the community. We look forward to you. Cheers. See y'all next week. And until then, drink more wheat whiskey because it's surprisingly good. Who would have thought it? I wish I had a wheat pun, but maybe next wheat. Goodbye.